Hey guys, Coldbrew here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, I can't believe it that Raid has managed to take the decision to rebalance this champion. This is the second time they're rebalancing it, and it's a worthwhile rebalance. I'm so happy about this, and we'll get started. It's a rebalancing patch. They've come to make us used to a rebalancing every month almost, with 4 champions being featured, some of them epics and some of them legendaries. This time around we've got 2 legendaries and 2 epics from my understanding featured through this rebalancing. So let's get started with the biggest one of them all, and it's gonna be Pixniel. All right, if you weren't playing the game, I think it was 2021 Christmas, it might have been 2020 Christmas, trying to remember. I think it was 2021 where Pixniel was featured, and she was there as the fusion, but it was a very disappointing champion. Can't even remember what she did in the past. They went ahead and rebalanced her, and just the sheer amount of legendary books required for this champion makes it a headache for anybody interested in using this champion. With 6 books on the A1, another 2 here, so that's 8, another 7 there. So in total we have 15 books, and then even the passive needs another 3 books there. So 18 books overall for a champion that was not good at all. The idea behind this champion was for when freezes were added onto an ally, that it would remove the freeze or steal the freeze and fill the territory. It's a chance which got increased by the passive. It wasn't that good. It wasn't worth all those legendary books, which I consider insane. The cost there is insane to have 18 books required. So what are the changes? We're starting with Mistress of Glamours. So the A1 now changes to attacks by an enemy, places a perfect veil buff for 1 turn on the ally with the lowest HP. So instead of it being a chance to place it, this will be just 100% chance to place. So this makes me curious. Will they remove the book requirement? I highly doubt that they will go back and refund the players who booked this champion already, because I know a few of them did just for content. I think Lila Fox, she did it. She fully booked Pixniel, and I think Scratch also did it for a video. I might be mistaken. That's the only ones I can remember. For me, my Pixniel I think is only at 6 stars, level 1 or something close to that. So have that in mind. It's a little bit it's a little bit weird. I wonder if they're just gonna change it to more damage through the A1, or just a chance to do something else. So we'll just have to wait, I guess, and see until the actual rebalancing comes out. But this will be different for sure, because now it's 100% chance to place the perfect veil. Then we're looking at Icicle Barrage. So the damage is increased overall for her A3 skill. So the A2 doesn't change, it seems, here. So the increased defense and continuous heal buff, and then an attack all enemies under freeze debuffs. Then place the weaken on them if they've got the freeze. Then this doesn't change, which is a little bit weird. That it does require the enemies to be under a freeze for it to attack. But anyway, let's have a look at the A3. So the damage is increased, so the attacking 5 times at random, and then has an 80% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Okay, so this is a little bit weird again, because this will be basically 100% chance with the books, okay, to place it. So has a 100% chance to place a freeze debuff on enemies that receive 2 hits. I wonder if this will be changed. They haven't specifically mentioned it, if this will also change, so the 100% chance will become like a freeze for 2 turns, like who knows. But probably they'll just remove the second part of this skill and just have it as a 100% chance to freeze, and also a 5 times attack at random. I wonder what the multiplier though is changed on her, and if this will make her like a very good attacker, especially because if you're attacking a single target, this will become a 5 hitting attack on that single target. I wonder how high this skill will hit, and of course it will be freezing the enemies for sure. This will work in arena, and this will kind of work in dungeons where the attacks will be random, but on average I guess you can expect to freeze like 3 out of 5 of the enemies, right? And then the passive also changes, which is a solid change. So first things first, she's now immune to freeze, so this is very good for the Doom Tower and for arenas when you're facing champions that freeze. Primarily, I would say Torment is the enemy that you don't want to be facing without any protection against freezes or a cleanse of sorts. Okay, so immune to freezes for herself, and then fills these champions turn meter by 25% every time an ally receives a freeze debuff. This is part of the passive of this, and it will also have an active effect with the cooldown. So this basically completely changes. So immunity to freeze debuffs and the fill of turn meter will be there. It's not going to be a chance to fill the turn meter. So this is actually pretty cool. And she won't have this part where it removes any freeze debuffs from this champion at the start of the turn. She'll be immune. So the active part at the end of each enemy or ally turn removes all freeze debuffs from all allies. So this is very specific because your champion does the skill and then that's considered the end of their turn. I wonder if the attack will count after this active effect, because it's a little bit weird on how it works. It says at the end of each enemy or ally turn, so you can get frozen by Torment if you try to speed boost as an example or apply buffs. Okay, that is a little bit weird because I wonder which comes first. Does the attack, the attempt to attack come and then the freeze happens for Torment, so the attack doesn't happen? Or does the check for the freeze happen and then it just gets canceled out? So we'll have to be testing this out when this is available. I wonder if this will be on the test server. And this will now have a cooldown, which will be reduced by the books here by 3. So I wonder what the cooldown will be of the active effect, which is the removal of all freeze debuffs from all allies. But this is solid because it's a removal from all allies. So if your other allies are frozen, just because of that skill, she'll be basically cleansing everybody. And I wonder what the cooldown is going to be. It's probably going to be like 5 turns cooldown and then reduced by the books to maybe a 2 turns or a 1 turn cooldown. I don't expect it to be a no cooldown skill. If there are multiple champions in the team with this skill, only one will remove, right? And then the aura changes to increase ally resist in all battles by 60. So that's helpful for the Doom Tower. And overall, I think this is a solid change to Pixie. I would say for the Doom Tower, those stages with the Torment can be so annoying. And I think many people out there will find them the changes that they needed for Pixie if they do have her, and will be using her. So I think I only have one Pixie. All right. So I'm not too worried about that. I think it's, yeah, it's only one Pixie, so I'm okay with the one I have. I'll probably max her out when a CVC happens and just waste 18 books. But I also want to try her out and see what the changes really are. Because this is just the text form of the changes. So the next one is going to be Bellanor. This is a legendary champion that I did not expect to be changed. I believe he's, I think he is High Elves. I do have, when did I get Bellanor? I totally forgot about this champion. But this is huge because he will be doing an attack on his A2 skill, which is the Unsurmountable. And instead of it being a target enemy, this becomes all targets, which is adding an additional champion that does this skill to the game. So good. So an AoE decreased defense and weaken is so good, especially when it's void. This makes him viable in Hydra as well. Now it really helps having those debuffs in terms of damage potential, and he does a lot of damage himself. He also buffs the team with the increased critical rate buff when he crits. And then he also has this skill called Overkill. Attacks when enemy will attack the enemy with the lowest HP with any surplus damage. If this attack kills the enemy, the surplus damage cannot be critical. This kind of sucks, but this is not a change. And he'll also be placing a Perfect Veil on this champion. So yeah, this doesn't change. I wonder, they had it bold. And then the Tactical Partner passive, this one. So instead of activating the Sword Leader skill, which is the A1, this will actually activate the Overkill skill now when Xavier is in the same team. So this is pretty cool. This is will actually activate this and this when Xavier is in the same team. So both of them will work together. It's a little bit weird because this guy doesn't have any poison. So it would have been fun if this partner skill was with Xavier. So we had two poison champions working together with the partner skill. Anyway, this is like a solid change for Bellanor, making him more viable for AoE. You know, defense down on weekend. That is huge for accounts out there that they were missing a champion like that. They were just waiting for Lydia or something. And then we have Alika being featured here in the changes. So Alika's Disorient skill now has the 75% chance of increasing the cooldown of all skills by 2 turns. So Disorient is an A3 skill, which attacks all enemies and then has that 75% chance to increase it. This is huge because this is another champion that receives this sort of skill in their skill set now. So we have the most common one that I can remember right now is this epic right here, Basher. Basher has the attacks all enemies increase the cooldown by 2 turns. So now Alika will have this, but okay, she's not void, so she can do a weak hit on enemies, but still this is very big on her because she is also a damage dealer. So this will help a lot in locking out enemy teams and actually make it worth the books to be considered, right? She's of course needing way more books than Basher, but still very solid, I would say. And then finally we have Crypt Witch. Final one is going to be Crypt Witch, an epic in the Knights Revenant faction. So I don't think the epics in the Knights Revenant really need changes, but there's balancing coming in for her. Dismantle skill attacks 3 enemies now at random, has a 75% chance to place the decreased defense. Each hit will also ignore 15% of the target's defense. So this changes apparently to add the additional ignore of the target's defense. It's a lesser ignore, but still very solid, especially since it's going to be triple hitting attack. This can work for the Fire Knight, so that's pretty solid. And then not so fast. Attacks one enemy will ignore 50% of the target's defense if this champion has higher speed than the target. So instead of if the target is faster than this champion, if this champion has higher speed than the target, kind of sucks because I'm guessing it counts on the speed that you have on your gear, and not, let's say, if you're speed boosted by your arbiter. So kind of sucks, but it's still okay, I would say, as a change to Crypt Witch. I have never used this champion for anything just because of the amount of other epics that this faction has. But yeah, that change looks very, very solid, and I'm happy about that. Oh, and look, a Cyber Monday pack just popped up. So this was the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. See ya.